Case 1. Bill Gates. In 2011, Bill Gates flew to New York to meet Jeffrey Epstein at his Manhattan townhouse. Epstein had been convicted of procuring a minor for prostitution 3 years earlier. He'd served 13 months in a county jail. He was a registered sex offender. None of that stopped the meeting. The introduction was made by Boris Nikolic, a science advisor on Gates's philanthropic team. Epstein claimed he could connect Gates with wealthy donors interested in global health. Gates went in. Over the next 2 years, Gates met Epstein at least 8 times. Dinners at the townhouse, late evening meetings. In March 2013, Gates flew on Epstein's private jet from Teterboro, New Jersey to Palm Beach, Florida. That same year, investigators would later find draft emails on Epstein's computer dated July 18, 2013. They were addressed to associates and contained allegations that Gates had contracted sexually transmitted infections. The emails were never sent. Why a convicted sex offender was drafting unsent emails about Bill Gates's medical history is a question no one has publicly answered. In September 2013, Gates brought Melinda to a dinner at Epstein's townhouse. By the time they left, she was furious. She told friends afterward that Epstein was repulsive. Within days, she contacted divorce lawyers. When the meetings became public in 2019, Gates released a statement. "I didn't have any business relationship or friendship with him." Then the flight records surfaced. The meeting logs were confirmed. Photos were published. In 2021, Melinda told CBS, "I did not like that he had meetings with Jeffrey Epstein." That same year, they divorced after 27 years. Gates released a second statement. "Meeting with Epstein was a mistake. I made an error in judgment." In February 2026, he went further. "Every minute I spent with him, I regret, and I apologize." 8 meetings, 1 flight, draft emails about his health on a dead man's computer. No criminal charges have ever been filed against Bill Gates. Case 2. Les Wexner. In the late 1980s, Les Wexner was the richest man in Ohio. He'd built Victoria's Secret Bath and Body Works and the Limited into a retail empire worth billions. When he met Jeffrey Epstein through a social connection in New York, a financial advisor named Harold Levin pulled him aside. "I smell a rat," Levin told him. Wexner didn't listen. In July 1991, he gave Epstein a general power of attorney, legal authority over his financial accounts, tax filings, real estate, and business decisions. His fortune at the time was estimated at $1.8 billion. The first thing Epstein did was acquire a mansion, 9 East 71st Street, a 7-story, 40-room townhouse on Manhattan's Upper East Side. Wexner had bought it for $13.2 million in 1989. The property was transferred to Epstein. The price on the transfer documents, $0. By 2003, that house was worth $77 million. Epstein lived there. He ran his operation from the upper floors. When the FBI raided the mansion in July 2019, agents found hidden surveillance equipment, a safe full of compact discs with handwritten labels, and thousands of photographs. The house that Les Wexner bought for $13.2 million and gave away for nothing had been converted into a recording operation. And Epstein used Wexner's most famous brand to fill it. Epstein told young women he was a Victoria's Secret talent scout. In 1997, a model named Alicia Arden filed a police report in Santa Monica. She said Epstein had arranged what she believed was a Victoria's Secret casting. When she arrived at a hotel room, he tried to undress her. Her statement to police described him pulling at her clothes and saying, "Let me manhandle you." Police classified it as a sexual assault. No arrest was made. Wexner later said he discovered Epstein had misappropriated $46 million. Epstein returned the money. Wexner never sued, never reported him to authorities, never made a public statement until 2019, when pressure from the press forced one. In February 2026, the U.S. House of Representatives subpoenaed Wexner to testify about his relationship with Epstein. Wexner has denied any knowledge of Epstein's crimes. Case 3. Bill Clinton. Between 2001 and 2003, former President Bill Clinton flew on Jeffrey Epstein's private jet at least 26 times. The jet was later known as the Lolita Express. Clinton's team has always maintained it was 4 trips to Europe, Asia, and 2 to Africa for Clinton Foundation work. 26 flights, 4 trips. The math depends on how you count. On at least 5 of those flights, Clinton traveled without his Secret Service detail. For a former president, that's not something that just happens. The Secret Service provides lifetime protection. Leaving them behind requires a deliberate decision. Several of those flights went to Epstein's private island, Little St. James, a 70-acre compound in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Locals had a name for it: Pedophile Island. Staff members would later testify about a rotation of young women flown in on private jets. A blue and white striped structure sat on the hilltop. What happened inside it was never explained under oath. In January 2003, Clinton's own aide, Doug Band, confirmed in an email that Clinton had visited the island. Clinton's team denied it. Epstein himself, in a separate 2011 email, also denied Clinton had ever visited. A photograph later surfaced from a refueling stop in Portugal. Clinton is seated, eyes closed, receiving a neck massage from Chauncey Davies, a woman who said she had been recruited into Epstein's circle by Ghislaine Maxwell. In January 2026, reports emerged that the FBI had opened an investigation into Clinton's relationship with Epstein. The investigation is ongoing. No charges have been filed. Bill Clinton has not been charged with any crime related to Jeffrey Epstein. Case 4. Jean-Luc Brunel. In the 1980s, Jean-Luc Brunel was one of the most powerful model scouts in the fashion industry. He discovered Christy Turlington. He worked with Sharon Stone. He had the kind of eye that turned unknown teenagers into household names. In the early 2000s, Brunel launched a new modeling agency called MC2. Jeffrey Epstein provided the funding, up to $1 million. MC2 recruited young women from South America and Eastern Europe with promises of modeling careers in the United States. Some of those women were sent directly to Epstein's properties. Virginia Giuffre, the central witness in the Epstein case, alleged that Brunel brought girls as young as 12 to Epstein. 3 12-year-old girls as a birthday present, she claimed. Their families were told it was for modeling. The fashion industry didn't say a word. For 2 decades, nothing happened to Brunel. On December 16, 2020, French police arrested him at Charles de Gaulle Airport. He was boarding a flight to Dakar, Senegal. One-way ticket. He was charged with rape of minors and sexual harassment. He was held at La Santé prison in Paris. On February 19, 2022, guards found him dead in his cell. He had hanged himself. He was 76. Jean-Luc Brunel never stood trial. No testimony was heard. Whatever he knew about Jeffrey Epstein's operation died with him in that cell. Case 5. The plea deal. In 2006, the FBI began building a federal case against Jeffrey Epstein. Agents identified at least 36 underage victims. The evidence included witness testimony, phone records, and flight logs. Prosecutors prepared to charge him with sex trafficking of minors, minimum 15 years in federal prison. Epstein hired Alan Dershowitz, Harvard law professor, celebrity defense attorney. Fee: $3 million. Dershowitz negotiated directly with Alexander Acosta, the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Florida. The result was one of the most controversial plea agreements in American legal history. Epstein pleaded guilty to 2 state charges: solicitation of prostitution and procurement of minors, 13 months in county jail. But the deal also granted immunity to every co-conspirator, named and unnamed. Anyone who helped recruit or transport underage girls was protected, and the victims were never told the deal was happening. During his 13 months, Epstein was granted work release, 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. He left jail at 6 in the morning and returned at 10 at night, to his own office in downtown West Palm Beach. That's not a prison sentence, that's a commute. Dershowitz later described the victims publicly as self-described prostitutes who don't feel they were harmed. Then the accusations turned on Dershowitz himself. Virginia Giuffre alleged that Epstein had directed her to have sex with Dershowitz between 2000 and 2002. Dershowitz denied everything. In November 2022, Giuffre retracted. "I may have made a mistake in identifying Mr. Dershowitz," she said. Alexander Acosta, the prosecutor who approved the deal, was appointed United States Secretary of Labor in 2017. When the Miami Herald exposed the agreement in 2018, public pressure mounted. Acosta resigned in July 2019. A federal judge later ruled the plea deal had violated the Crime Victims' Rights Act. The victims should have been notified. No one was held accountable for the violation. Case 6. Prince Andrew. In 2001, a photograph was taken inside Ghislaine Maxwell's London townhouse. Prince Andrew, Duke of York, stands in the centre. His arm is around the waist of Virginia Giuffre. She was 17. Maxwell stands behind them, smiling. Giuffre alleged that Epstein and Maxwell trafficked her to Andrew on 3 occasions, in London, New York, and on Epstein's private island in the Caribbean. The palace denied everything. For 18 years, the photograph sat in the public record. On November 16, 2019, Prince Andrew sat down for a BBC Newsnight interview with Emily Maitlis. Maitlis asked about the night in the photograph, when Giuffre said Andrew had taken her to Tramp nightclub in London. Andrew said he couldn't have been there. He'd taken his daughter to a Pizza Express in Woking that afternoon. "I remember it weirdly distinctly," he said. Maitlis pressed on. Giuffre had described Andrew sweating heavily on the dance floor. Andrew said he had a medical condition caused by an overdose of adrenaline from being shot at during the Falklands War that made him unable to produce sweat. "I have a peculiar medical condition," he told the BBC, "which is that I don't sweat." When asked about his 2010 visit to Epstein's Manhattan mansion, 2 years after Epstein's conviction, Andrew said he went to end the friendship in person. He called it the honorable thing to do. He described Epstein's home as a convenient place to stay. When asked to describe Epstein's behavior, Andrew chose the word unbecoming. An email later surfaced, dated February 28, 2011. From Andrew to Epstein. It read, "We are in this together." In February 2022, Andrew settled Giuffre's civil lawsuit for a reported £12 million. No wrongdoing admitted. In 2025, a second woman came forward, alleging she had been sent to Royal Lodge, Andrew's residence, through Epstein's network. In October 2025, King Charles stripped Andrew of every royal title: Duke of York, Earl of Inverness, Baron Killyleagh. He was evicted from Royal Lodge. It was the first time a British prince had lost all titles since 1919. No criminal charges have ever been filed against Prince Andrew. Virginia Giuffre died in April 2025. Suicide. She was 41.